Good morning, folks. Karshel here. Hopefully this is working. For some reason, I have been having some YouTube issues when it comes to setting this up. But from everything I can tell on my end, it is working this time. So we shall see. Now, the stream that I was last attempting to do was doing a little bit of trading for fun and profit, so to speak. And I had talked about how I like to run through my systems for the sake of trading, but none of that either got recorded or broadcast. Usually I have things set up to record additionally as well as broadcasting in an attempt to give me some redundancy, and if things go bad, then I am then able to take the recording and improvise. It didn't even do the recording, so I'm not sure what the issue is with that. But what I had been doing was traveling systems using my freighter, because a freighter can warp to any system. It doesn't need the custom drive enhancements that a normal starship does. So I would jump in the freighter, warp to a system, drop down to a trading post on the planets, because you get a better price variance and more profit when you work off the trade depots rather than through the space station. Fill up my holds. I'm using my shuttle at the moment, and then fly to the appropriate system to sell these at a good profit. Now, currently I am in a manufacturing high-tech system, and the items that you pick up here sell best in a red system, a power generation system. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Since I had already filled up the holds, at this point it's just a matter of getting back to my freighter, or as it identifies it, a capital ship, and finding an appropriate red system that I want to go to. I do like that you can just call the freighter right to you, not have to deal with actually traversing across the system sometimes. One of my ships came back from the mission, the last one, and he got damaged in it, so he got recalled early. I'm going to have to take a look and see what repairs he needs. But doing it while my holds are full doesn't make a bit of sense, because I will have to go out and farm silver, gold, tritium, who knows what else, in order to get him back fully functional. And I'm not going to worry about that right now. I am glad the physics here isn't always accurate, or I would have gotten smacked around by that ship as it swung. As you can see, my movement is still slow, so even though I've got the settings turned down and tweaked a bit, it's still taking just a little bit too much of my processing power to run this. Okay, those two ships are still out, so we'll let them do their thing. Now, I should still have 3 more jumps in my freighter. That's another one of the reasons to use the freighter to do your jumps, because their warp drive is so much better. Nope, I've got 2 more jumps before I have to put another warp cell on. With a starship, every time you jump, you're going to be using a warp cell. The freighter can pull 5 jumps out of a single one. Okay, I'm looking for a red system. Since I have to me, a smaller hold for my ship, a medium supply system probably would be fine, but I would prefer to have something bigger, just if nothing else, so that I get to know exactly where it is I'm going to be working. Doing a quick scan to see where other planets are with contacts in them. I want to keep working in that direction in an attempt to find someone else's base. I still need that achievement. Okay, if a system like that comes up with no information as far as dominant life form, economy, and conflict level, it is quite possible that there is nothing there besides a couple of planets, maybe some moons, but there will be no trade depots, possibly no space station that is usable. So when you're doing trade runs, it makes no sense whatsoever to go there, in my opinion. Okay, and that's the direction I want to be heading. That's a medium. How far can I go? I've put in a couple of upgrades to my warp drive, so I've got considerably more range than I had started with. That will work for me. It's getting me close into where these contact points are. The strength of the economy is not great. Balanced is one of the mid-level ones. You would much rather have an affluent or wealthy type system because they have a much greater supply of products to buy to restock. But for what I have, this should be sufficient. And I don't have a conflict scanner installed, so I don't know what the threat level is, but I'm not overly concerned about that. And conflict level is dangerous. Generally, that's not a problem. Now and then you might get into a situation where it gets a little hairy, but I don't know if it was the intended effect, but pretty much you can outrun whatever is deciding to chase you. They eventually will give up. Well, that's great for a permadeath run as a newbie. It's nice and safe. It's not necessarily realistic. So I have very mixed feelings about that. Now we will do a quick scan out here after hitting the space station. I tend to like to hit those first because it saves the teleport location, so I can jump back to the system whenever I want. It is not uncommon for me when I'm doing a trading run to actually have a notepad next to me and write down the really good systems, and I will set up a trade route that I can use just using the teleport. The vendors reset stock levels roughly every 3 hours. It goes up incrementally, but if the vendor has the full amount of material possible, it takes about 3 hours before they are restocked totally. So if you can set up a portal route and jump in, Do 3 hours of trading, then go do whatever else you want to do in the morning or afternoon or whenever. And then give it time to reset. Once you have your systems lined out, you really don't need to worry about them anymore. You can always just come back to the space station, jump in the teleporter, and go to the next location that you need to have in mind. I think, since I have the cash, I'm going to do another high capacity. Eventually, those are all going to be maxed. It just takes time and a little bit of cash. Now, as I had done in a couple of other systems, I'm going to run across and check with the missions clerk, and any of the passive missions, or what I consider to be passive missions that he has, I'm going to collect. I tend to grab a whole bunch of them and then do them all at the same time. Those missions will be things like scanning plants and scanning minerals, killing animals, killing sentinels. All the things that I can just do whenever it's convenient for me to do so. And then as I get completion, I come back and get the payoff. I tend to avoid the ones that are picking up a item for someone or finding a missing person or anything else, unless you're going to be spending some time within that particular system. So you deliver an item, that will tie me to this system, which would get in the way of the trade route, so I'm not going to do that. The collection for the 250, I will do that, because that can take however long it takes. The kill 5 sentinels, I will do that. Because I know eventually I'm going to be killing enough sentinels to get the credit for that. Okay, that's all this one has for me. But because I've been doing this with systems as I go through it, as you can see, I have pages of missions standing by, and most of them are going to be doing that exact same thing. And I am perfectly fine with that. So now we'll pop out, see what we can do about finding a trade depot to sell everything off that we bought in the new system, and restock with red stuff. That level of difficulty of ship, 100,000 bounty, I am not concerned at all about that, even though I'm flying my shuttle and not my exotic. It's unlikely he's going to bother me in the first place. But at that level of difficulty, the ship physics and flight ability is not going to be enough that I would have to worry about it. Now, had I been jumped by 4 or 5 ships, that would have changed the whole dynamic. But I still would have just run. mentioned it on the prior stream. I don't know that that came across. I always try to park on this same pad. Reason being, there have been a few times where I have launched the ship leaving the depot and gotten tangled up in the building itself. So rather than avoid the possibility of some kind of permadeath glitch and ending up dead, I park out here where it's virtually assured that I can just take off and go. Nice little extreme planet. Which is too bad. I kind of like the desert planets, but so we got massive storms, we got pissed off samples, it's toxic. Yeah, we're not going to be here. Yep, gotta let it go through its thingy. Yeah, 5 days on an extreme. That's nothing. Okay, sell items from the inventories, switch over to the ship, and dump it all. Now, when I started this run, which granted was a couple planets ago, I was at 3,000,003 units. I think this is only my second stop. As you can see, even with limited cash and limited hull space, because I'm running the shuttle, which only has 26 slots, I am picking up some decent profit. Once you get to the point where you have a full-size hauler, full size being, say, 45, 46, or 44, 45 usable slots that you can fill with inventory, you can do some serious profit on each turn. Okay, now if I'm remembering correctly, I have 90 slots available. Correct. I can pick up 90 individual trade items and fit them in my hull. So...
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
If there were 90 of the highest priced item, I would be thrilled. There are not, so I'm going to clear out everything that I can of this, because at that profit margin, I should be able to make a fairly decent profit, but I still need 45 more items. Oh, yeah, whatever. Forgot to switch over to the Starship inventory. Rookie mistake. I do it all the time. Even with 1,400 hours in, I do it all the time. So. Generally, it's considered buying the highest value items that you can, because the profit margin on those will be greater than even a greater markup percentage on the really cheap stuff. So I should be able to buy 45 of these. And that should fill my hold. Okay. Now, do I have enough tritium in my bags? Excuse me. I do not, so I may end up having to... I wonder if I can just buy some. It would make my life a lot easier. Tritium or pyrite, either one. Pyrite I will take. I want everything you got. That's simply a convenience thing. To keep that pulse engine fueled, that way I don't need to worry about having to slow down and mine. Especially since my hold is full. I would end up having to destroy something or transfer it to the freighter, or transfer it to the exosuit, or to transfer it all back. As long as I can keep the drives fueled with picking up profits, or picking up the resources of the trade depots, I'm perfectly fine with it. See, now, I still managed to hit the damn tower when it was coming. And taking one hit like that, no big deal. If you get stuck in the building, though, you constantly are taking hits.
Warning.
That can become a
Detected.
problem. I have to laugh at how they warp in a starfreighter like this in the middle of an asteroid field. Think twice about it. But, you know, the game can only do so much. Now, the material that you pick up in a red system like this generally will sell best in orange systems. So when I get back up to my star map, that's what I'm going to be looking for. And then I will dump that and hopefully find an orange system that I can jump to that is on the previously explored list. Those show up with the word contact in the store. If I get really lucky, there'll be a player base there and I'll be able to pick up that achievement. I doubt these guys are back. I know the one damaged ship is. Okay, they're back. Okay. So, my freighter inventory is full. So, we'll give the pyrite to the exosuit. Condensed carbon to the exosuit, because I will use that up. Launch fuel to the exosuit. Although, since I'm landing only on trading depots, that's not really relevant at this point. Let's see if I got enough room to do my thing now. Okay, here we go. I am happy to see that activated cadmium. I needed a little bit more of that to be able to put in my next freighter drive upgrade. So I may divert from my trade and run back to my home base, stick that in the refiner, refine it to normal cadmium because I needed another 44 pieces of normal. And that would increase my range even more. Okay, what would that do for my range? Okay, so with the additional cadmium drive, it would add another 200 light years of range. And I can't complain about that. That one adds 300. The base, I think, is just 100. Do I want to do that right now? I think I probably do. Because there's only a good side. Excuse me. Yeah, and that would have to be refined down to regular cadmium. Okay, we'll take the next jump. Go sell. Go to the space station. Jump back, and then come back again. Yeah, that's a plan, right? Okay, what system was I looking for? Orange. And contacts in that direction, ideally. Prospecting system, GEC. Sustainable, again, it's not great. And as you've noticed, the stacks of material that I'm getting are not quite enough for one material to fill the hole. So that is not optimum. It would be better if they did so. Medium. And I do still want to go that direction. And that is explored. And that is explored. 70 and 16, 43. That's not explored. Okay, that's got a better sell-buy ratio, so we're going to head there. Multiple planets. So it should be good to drop the cargo off, and then I'll pop back out. And when I restart the trading route, I'll come in from there. And conflict level in trouble. So, while the economy is not the greatest, overall, it's a pretty peaceful system. So flying around here is going to be a non-issue. I said that I like to go to the space station first. This time I'm going to forego that because I'm going to end up going to the space station and porting out. So, first thing we're going to do is just check for a trade depot, go dump the material so that I have empty holds and can do some ship repairs on my frigate. Pop home before we do those repairs. Get the cadmium downgraded to regular cadmium, come back and install the drive, upgrade in the freighter, then pop back to this system and resume the trade route. Do I have any home bases on this one? Nothing's coming up on the scanner. That would have been too lucky. I'm not sure how much time I will actually spend in this person's sector of space because there's no way to know if they have a base even built on these planets. They might be one of the nomads who is focused more on building a base in a freighter. Okay, land. It's coming in a little bit too high. And this being an extreme planet, I understand why they don't have a base here. Well, it's not an extreme planet. I just happen to time it right to hit the storm. Okay. Well, that's better. But I don't know if there's any good way to pick up someone's base beyond just pulling into a system and hitting the scan. I think that it would show up just as well that way as doing anything else. Okay, empty our holds, and that pulls us to 6,000,003. I think we were at 4,000,007 at that last one. So a tidy profit just for one stop. But I'm not even going to refill the hold because I'm going to have to be doing farming in space to pick up the materials to sell or to fix my frigate afterwards. That's something else like kind of shit. Okay, let's get the heck out of here and go to the space station. Quick planet scan. I have not done hardly any work on my base at this point. If I had, then I would be paying more attention to these planets with frost crystals on them because I'm a person that tends to like windows. And you gotta have that frost crystal to be able to make the windows. Okay, even though I'm here for a particular reason, I've got to do my general maintenance. Pick up the additional suit slot, check the missions, and then we'll pop out. Okay. Now, I also will freely admit that I don't need to go all the way back to the home system. I've got a portable refiner on me, but a portable refiner requires additional fuel, whereas the medium and large refiners do not need to be fueled. They draw fuel from your base. Well, I know the large refiner does. I believe the medium does. And I've got a large refiner there at my base. So just for the sake of not having to dig up the additional material, it's like, we'll pop there. We'll be frugal about this. Okay, kill 27. I'll take it. That's a good nailing payoff. Scan 5 minerals. Not going to do the low-level pirates because that would be in this system type thing. Maybe I will do it later when I come back to restock, but probably not. Now, this system is... Okay. Boy, it's so strange to see someone else have discoveries in there. And we will jump right back to our space station, or our base. One of these days I need to put a teleporter in there. I still have not done that yet. So at this point I have to leave, go back to the space station in that system, and then teleport back to here. Once I build an actual teleporter at the base location, I can just pop in and out of that same spot. did any buried tech salvaging. I did not. So, no new blueprints for me. I'm really terrible about that. I have a tendency to not stop to dig up stuff.
Protection falling.
Hi, guys. Yeah, my poor little agriculture dude down there. I've done like next to nothing. Okay, where is my cadmium? There we go. And you should refine. Oh no, wait a minute. I don't want chromatic metal. I was thinking I could downgrade that. I may be thinking wrong. Hold that thought. Okay, my thoughts were mistaken on this. I did a little bit of quick looking up. I can do this and refine cadmium into more cadmium by adding chromatic metal. So I could use the activated cadmium to make chromatic metal and then use the regular cadmium that I have, which is still on the freighter, to generate more regular cadmium as I do with the copper. Using cadmium, refining it with chromatic metal generates additional cadmium. So, I think I've got to run back up to the freighter and do that. Sorry for the background noise. Okay, where's my boat? So, this shuttle is a fairly decent little ship, but certainly is not what I would consider to be attractive in any way, shape, or form. I'm just looking at the frigates because the way those rings were at the front of the ships just looked interesting to me. Since I've got empty holds. 11. Okay, I'll take it. I don't see an awful lot of that, and that's something that I will also need to repair my ship with. Okay, come on in. Now, where's my damaged ship? There you are. Okay, let's go take a look and see how bad the damage is. They tried to scratch your mighty vessel. They're the pathetic fools, and you're the one that called me and said, "Can we run?" Uh-huh. Okay, what do we got? Oh, only one station is damaged. Okay, I expected more than that. That shouldn't take too long to repair. Fore or aft. I don't see the damage. Okay, well, let's go this way. Do we have any damage showing up in that direction? I do not. There you are. Okay. Can I get to it this way? Doesn't look like there's a door back there. Okay. I don't know the layout of this ship. My apologies. Is there a door here? I hope. No. Okay. Pathing's rather interesting around that deck. So I do have stairs going down from the landing pad. Overall, I must admit I'm not thrilled with this aspect of the fleet. It just seems to be more tedious than it is a reward in any way. Okay, there it is. And what do I need? Pure ferrite. I don't think I have that on any of my platforms at the moment. It's not hard to refine, but I'm not even carrying ferrite dust. I don't believe. So I'm going to have to go gather some of that. And ferrite does not drop from space and farming the asteroids. So I'm going to have to drop back down to the planet. Tried actually playing this game with a controller once. That just was not a good experience for me. So pardon for the jerkiness of my turns and view changes sometimes, but mouse and keyboard is the way I do things. Might be a generational thing. Mistaken, that's my base planet. Yep, it is. Let's drop back. Spent a lot of hours walking around in this place. Okay, simple fix. Grab the boltcaster. Grabbing the condensed carbon because it's nice, good, concentrated energy. And I'm here. Now you may have noticed there's a sentinel out there. Because I'm mining something at a distance like this, he doesn't even associate it with me. In a way, it's kind of a cheat, but you know. Okay, now ferrite dust or pure ferrite. I like the fact that there's pyrite on that as well. That's pure ferrite. Oh, sure, it's good to go. Just to get a little bit of range so that I can actually mine and not have to worry about it. Okay. Great. See, you can never have enough slots. I'm going to send that back to the freighter. I'm not worried about missing out on the salt. I just want the pure ferrite. And if I'm not mistaken, I need a 25 for the repair. That's okay. So we'll have plenty of this. And since the slot is already taken out and stacks can be up to 250 in your exosuit, I'm just going to fill that up. If nothing else, it will come in very handy when I need to refill my terrain modifier. Because it needs the costs. Okay, that should be plenty for my needs for a while. And I like the pyrite as a supplement material because that certainly will be handy and get used for the pulse engine. Okay, where's my port damage torch?
Hostile scan detected. Warning. Threat detected.
I don't care.
Hostile ships approaching.
Dump aggro. Yeah, this is multiple ships coming. And by jumping into the freighter like this, it automatically dumps the aggro. The ships despawn. You don't need to worry about it. So if you're doing maintenance types tasks and just don't want to bother, it's real easy to do. Now I'll just immediately launch and go back out to the freighter. In theory. Let's find out. I believe it was down here. Nope. See, if you ignore the report, then you don't actually get an icon marking where the problem is on your ship. Just keep that in mind. I thought I'd be able to walk right back to it, and I think I've gone the wrong way. Yeah, I have. So don't be like me. Do things intelligently. Oh, there it is. So I wasn't that far off. I just chose the wrong direction. Okay, I was far enough off. Maybe I can get in from this end.
Technology repaired.
And that is repaired, so this ship is now ready to be sent out again. Which is a good thing. I will be running back to the freighter and picking up the cadmium that I have there, the regular cadmium. Going back to the large refiner and refining some additional cadmium so that I have enough to do that next freighter warp drive enhancement. Is my ship on this side? Yes, it is. Okay. But looking at the time, this stream is hitting an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it off a bit, simply so I don't get to be too long and too much of a pain in the butt for people. Hopefully you will enjoy it whenever you see it. I will be doing streams on occasion. I'm not going to do anything regularly scheduled, but most of them probably will be this time of day. But I hope you enjoy. Until